I'm Elisa and I'm going to be doing session 3 with you. I'm joined with Howard Haig, amazing musician, and for this session also, I'm going to start on the seat, and also there's going to be versions standing or seated, so sometimes Helen or Mel will join as well. Okay, so I hope you've all enjoyed the prior sessions, and you can use them several times as well, so play with those. This one I'm thinking about really using that sense of connection and that idea of intention into movement. And I know with Parkinson's sometimes that can be sometimes quite frustrating with us. So we're going to play with that idea of using imagery and the sense of dynamic and rhythm, almost as a kind of connection between your intention and your action. We're going to start just with this, it's quite improvised at first, but we're going to start with this idea of mobilising your whole body. And you're going to think of that as almost a dance for each part of your body. So what I mean by that is we're going to start with the head. I'm going to do this fast and then we're going to do it with Howard. And then I'd like you to also think in terms of your focus and your where your actual sort of thought processes are as well. So you really give your attention to the movement and the motion of the head, and you're also trying to release that in the neck. And then we're going to start to use the shoulders, and it's a dance of the shoulder. So you can think about maybe figure eights, circles, and have a sense of the movement being carried. So the body part is being carried by that intention. And you can play with that also with your focus, so you can kind of look towards what body part is moving. I'm going to say this quicker and then we're going to do it, because then you're going to move to focusing on giving more attention to the elbow. And that doesn't mean everything else stops moving, but we give emphasis to the movement led by the elbow, and we'll change. We're going to move all the way down, and we're just kind of scanning through to the ribs, and we're going to see what the ribs can do. A bit like you've got a hula hoop around you. Playing with the ribs, mobilising that, and for yourself, just depending on what your body's feeling like, just do what you need to do. And even though you're on a chair, you think about mobilising the hips, and sometimes that is almost transferring the weight from one bottom cheek to the next, and just allowing that, and again, knowing what your body feels like today, how you want to play with that. And then you're going to think about the hips. That doesn't mean, as I said, everything else stops moving. You're going to think about the knees, and you can again look towards or focus on each one. You can move them together or independently. Think about circles. And you're going to then focus down to the ankles. So this whole scan is almost going all the way through the body. So you think about that intention and the focus going from one to the other. And then Howard is going to keep playing, and we're just going to think about this whole idea of dancing of different separate body parts. It can be fingers. And if you can, think about looking towards each body part. So that really emphasises which part you're playing with. I hope that makes sense. We're going to try it with some music. We're going to start gentle. I did a fast version of that. We're going to start quite gentle. So the idea then is just this dance of the head, and you can think about that even in the jaw, and relax and everything. We're just going to have Howard's going to join as well with this one. So nice and relaxed. Think about the spine being nice and relaxed, nice and comfortable in your seat. Drop the shoulders. And then just focus on a dance, just using the head. That can be circles, that can be figures of eight. Think about what part of the surface of the head is leaving. Nice and slow. You can choose to close your eyes, or you can have your eyes open. It's almost like asking yourself, how many different ways can you move your head? We're going to turn our attention just to a shoulder. That doesn't mean everything else stays still. Waking everything up. And the other one. And are you moving one at a time, or are you moving two together? Which direction is it moving? Affect your chest as you do that. to our ribs. Just shifting in our seat. So the ribs are leading that movement, and other parts of the body will follow. You work your breath. And allow your hips and your middle to join. While still being quite relaxed in the neck and the head. So all the things you've already worked on, keep those nice and relaxed. Like fluid. Now we're going to turn our attention down one leg, waking up, just focusing on the knee, each of your movement through the knee. So be careful on that chair, you can see where that tension. Is it like a circle? Circle in the hips. And when you're ready, the other leg, you do this in your own time. If that's comfortable, be careful on that seat. A sense of it being light. And then think of dancing with the two knees. Be one after the other. Be them both working the same way. It could be them just rocking side to side. And turn your attention to your ankles. Just play with how they can move. Let them float. Circling the foot. Float it to the sides. Go on a little journey. Into the toes, wiggling the toes. If that foot's tired, just keep it close to the floor. And change. And again, just keep your focus on the body part that you're emphasizing. And then start to play with waking up everything. So you can almost think, consciously, you can think about your shoulder, or your head, or your ribs. And try and connect your movement, still warming you up. Fingers, knees, As you get these next, we're going to start to wake everything up. Really stretch out nice and open. And bringing it back in. Just find that sense of stretch away from yourself. Use your breath on this one. Drop it. Let's reach upwards. Nice and floating back down. And one more, I'm going to hold still on that stretch. Take a big deep breath in. And breathe out. And bring everything back to you. And nice little shape. So this next exercise is quite breathy. It's about just kind of really finding that stretch again, and having that sense of all of almost the sphere of space around us as well. But to start with, we're going to find a nice reach where you're looking again down. If you're standing, obviously, sorry, Helen is joining us. This is a seated version, and if you're standing, you have a nice wide base, and I tend to keep my knees a little bit soft as well, so they're not locked. So I'm going to reach down one side, I'm going to look down. And then I'm going to allow my arm to float to the side, and then it's going to come forwards, but it's a real push. Have a sense of almost a resistance. You push, and then you allow your arm to drop. I'm going to go elbow first. And then at the other side, I'm going to go down the other leg, let it lift, so have that sense of it carrying. So the intention is to find that release in the arm. Reach forwards towards the front, and drop. The second lock is going to go all the way down, but then you go past all the way up to your fifth. And then you let your arm drop. I'm going to say through first, but I'm going to relax that in a minute. Sorry. And then all the way down. Follow it, if you can, follow that with your eyes. and let that arm come down. So that's the second part. The third part, you're going to let your two knees bend and your arms coming up the side. Then they whoosh forward. So if you remember, we did one arm forwards. And this time the two arms go out and forwards, and then just let them sink. And then the fourth one, you drop, you pick up the arm, gather all the energy up, through into your fifth, dropping forwards and down. Yeah, so that is the pattern, but each time we do it, we're going to add something a little bit more, and we're also going to release a little bit more in our movement. We don't want to be too rigid in this. So using your breath when you do these is one thing. We're going to do a second set, and we're going to think about that idea of rotating. So we're just kind of releasing but mobilising, but also we're going to play with that, what can be sometimes that point at which it's two things happening at once as well. So even though you're going to do exactly the same pattern, you're going to play with this idea of rotating the arm in the shoulder socket. And if you can, and if you're comfortable with that, you're going to keep those rotations going all the way through. And then I want you all of us to just let that happen. So this is the first one. It goes down, and then allow your arm to go in and out as it's taken that journey to the side and forwards. And then let it go. And then the same the other way. As it comes up, just play. And that's also just to loosen in the shoulder socket. And forwards and down. Then we go down to the side. Let them come forwards. So it's palm up, palm down. And down. And down all the way up to the fifth. And again, palm up, palm down, palm up, palm down, as you do it. So that is very loose. You're just going to play with that happening en route all the way through. So you don't have to set that, you just allow that rotation to happen. And then if you feel more and more comfortable, you can just dig even deeper with these reaches. So you can let your knees bend if you're comfortable, or if you feel more stable to stay upright, just do it in your upper body. Okay? And we'll really listen to the quality of the movement as well, and we'll get our movement quality from Howard also. We drop down to the side, let it float down, to the way. Follow this with your eyes as well. This time it's going to go down and all the way up to the feet. So you can also stretch through the body. For yourself, okay? Let's go one more time. So really let the weight lead you. And use your breath. Forwards. And drop. Follow that with your eyes. Down and all the way up to the top. Reach, nice lift. Down. down, all the way up. If you want to play with that, you can go a little quicker or in a way, and really using your weight. And this has got quite a lot of bounces to it as well. And we have this sense of, again, thinking about that idea of your intention into your movement. So your movement down and up. So you have this sense of really closing in and then pushing the space away. And just having that sense of the contrast between one and the other. If you can, find some resistance in that. So if you're seated, you bring it right into your centre, and you can reach up and over. So Helen's joined us on this one as well. Helen and Mel are just dancing with me as well. So first of all, we're going to drop in. We're going to drop in, and you can reach. And first of all, we're going to aim for just reaching across on the high diagonal to our sides. But we're going to start to make our own choices once we get into the music. So it goes in, reach away, down, reach away. And you can, if you want to, really use your hands to pull or just turn them in away. We'll do about 8 of those, and once later on we'll kind of loosen that up a bit. And then as we loosen it up also, we can choose to change our facing depending on the space you have. All the way down, all the way up, and you can play with that. After we've done 8, we're going to take again this sense of all of the space around us, a bit like a tabletop, and we're going to drop and we're going to just wrap around ourselves. We're really reaching as far away from ourselves as we can. So if you're on feet, just be careful. You can transfer the weight from one foot to the other, or you can keep your weight in the centre. And again, we're going quite low and back in. There's a little wrap at the end of it. I think we'll do about 4 of those. Then from there, we're going to do a little bit of a wiggle. So from the last wrap, we're going to think about looking one way, and we're going to rotate to look the other. Yeah. But as we do that, we can't just turn and rotate to look the other. We're going to have a bit of a wiggle until we're looking the other way. And then we wiggle and rotate the other way. Like so. I'm going to go to the next bit. You can choose again, depending on the space you're in, to stay on the spot. And you're going to stamp. And even if you're seated, really have that sense of pushing through the floor as well. If you have space, you can all use this to actually move you forwards. So then we're going to move with the music, but we're going to also coordinate that with flicking through the fingers. So we're going to go down and forwards and up. And we're going to go backwards if there's space, if you're travelling. If you're on the spot, you can go down, forwards, up, down, to there. I think that'll do, actually. Yeah, so recap goes in, out, concertina in and out, and once we've done it, we can change our facing. Then we're going to wrap. Then we're going to wiggle. You can think about your hips, your bottom, and your shoulders. And if there's someone in the room with you, you can face them. Yeah, and then we're on the spot, or we're travelling, and we're flicking, and we're going back. And again, it's loose. Once you've got used to this pattern, so that you may want to watch this video and play it a few times, you can change that and do what you like in the space. Do you want to go? So be ready. Everything nice and loose. We're going to get ready to be quite bouncy as well. Go in and out. Okay, brilliant. Thank you. So start here. We'll go in and out. So you can play with the speed yourself. We go down, down. Reach, down, reach, down, step, here we flick. Coming forward with the arms. Coming up. Going back. And all the way down. Let's wiggle all over. Go again. Ready? We're going to go one more time. Ready? And squeeze. Push. Okay, so this next thing we're going to do, I think it's the fourth thing we're going to do. It's a little bit of a challenge because it's going to ask you to choose your own movements as well. But we're going to improvise and we're really going to listen to the music. So you're going to think about yourself in partnership with your musician. If you're lucky enough to ever have a live musician, it's wonderful. So what we're going to play with now is, again, just have a sense of the space you're in and really play with, like we were doing when we warmed up, that idea of looking around you. And the basis of your movement is that you can move towards all of the areas around your own sphere.
Do you want a seated version?
Yes, a seated version would be great. And it's a bit like you're having a conversation, you're having with nature a conversation. But like we did in warm-up, we were thinking about the body parts leading our movement. And all we're going to play with is being guided by your musician. So our movement, we're going to keep moving. So you don't have to follow what I'm doing, because what you have to think about is the choices that you're making of which body part is leading your movement. But you have to listen really carefully, because with Howard stops moving, we're going to see if you can hold on to where you've got to. So this idea of trying to control that and just allow yourself to hold, and we don't move until Howard starts playing again. So he gives us a cue to start playing, and then we're going to see if we can try to respond when he stops as well. Okay, that's it. We're going to start together. Howard's going to play and we're going to start moving. And as you're doing it, just play with, again like we did in warm-up, it's almost a dance of each body part. It could be independent, or it could be two things at once. But you're really being quite specific about the choices. Like I might think hip, then toe, fingers. Yeah, so keep making some choices and play with that. And then we're listening really carefully. Together. Keep playing with it, listen to the quality of his music, how that influences your movement. And pause. Well done, everyone. I hope you've all managed to find some interesting things to do in your own space. And sometimes when you use this kind of thing, you don't have to follow then. You just listen and it's almost like you're dancing with us as well. Well done. All good. Okay, so we're going to do, Mel is going to use the chair and stand, a standing version without a chair, with a chair. I'll do the standing version without, and Helen's going to be seated, as you can see. And we're going to do this sort of final exercise, but at the end then we're going to carry on then into our cool down. So kind of just going to combine the two. And this one's got some focus on balance as well. And also we're going to use our weight. You're going to start with your one side, and you're going to allow that, look where it is, allow that one arm to swing forwards all the way back like a wheel behind you. And again, a little bit of a momentum as you drop. And on our third one, you're going to hold it up, so it's all the way up. And if you can, just envisage that when you get there, you're going even taller, you're stretching. And then the fingers are going to lead, you're going to cross your body, let your head follow, your knees bend, and you're crossing and sweeping towards the opposite leg. And again, that could be high or it could be all the way down to the floor. And if it's all the way down to the floor, you then roll it back through the middle. And the same with the other one. So you circle back, a little bit of a drop in between, so you just feel that momentum. And then a little suspension first, then trickle that arm across the body, let it sweep down the opposite leg, and through the middle. And your head's nice and heavy until you get back up, just being aware of that. Then, just a sense of your, I got that wrong, no I didn't. As you come up, you're going to allow your two arms to float up, so the backs of the arms are facing forwards and down. And then if you're comfortable with this, you can have a go at rising and lowering. It's a bit like you're painting with the arms. 3. And 4. Yeah, if that's not comfortable or you want to do some and not all, just play with that. After 4, you're going to step, it doesn't matter which way, but you're stepping across, you're going to slide the other leg, and again, just test your balance by bringing the leg up past the ankle, and then taking it down again. Or you can just stay with your feet on the floor. You're going to bend through the middle, draw the leg up the side, bend through the middle, and then here, you're just taking some little pads of the feet. You can just loosen the spine, just because I like to do that a lot, and then you start again. Yeah, should we try that with the music? So focus on one arm, you're going to drop and lift in a circle. Ready? And it goes. Sorry, that's me.
Okay.
Go on. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I think I can already forgotten the pace of it. Thank you.